Hi, welcome. My name's Belinda, and welcome to my YouTube channel, which is all about meditation, spiritual nutrition, and spiritual wealth. And in the video today, I want to talk about the role of meditation in the dark night of the soul. Before we get into that topic, I would love if you subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in meditation and spiritual nutrition, this is definitely the place for you. And I also have a free meditation mini course that you can access using the link in the banner of my YouTube channel above. So let's get into the topic today. I have done a previous video on the Dark Night of Soul that I'll link below that you should definitely go and watch first. And just to kind of rehash for those that have seen that video, the way that I described some of the dark night of the soul in my own experiences was a lack of identity of who I really am as a divine being. So in that I had been identified with all the different layers of the ego, the human aspect, and we all have so many layers. And often when we start doing our spiritual work, we find that some of those layers, we realize they're not truly us anymore and they fall away. But if we've been super identified with one of those layers and then it falls away, we can feel so lost. And that's actually why a lot of people, even when they go to therapy, they reach a point where they don't want to continue anymore because they are afraid they might lose that part of themselves that they've been so strongly identified with. So for many of us, that this can be an aspect of our shadow. So just say we're always used to really playing the victim, and that's been a coping mechanism that really helped us when we were little, and we've carried on to that to adulthood. And then when we do some therapy or some work and we realize, oh, I'm not really that victim, I can let go of that, we can feel so empty. We can feel like we don't know who we are anymore. And it's these examples of these circumstances that can lead to a dark night of the soul. So often it is people that are on a spiritual path that are really brave and courageous and doing this work of removing the layers of the aspects of us that we know are not necessarily true and eternal, even though they had an important role to play in our life. And so the role of meditation in all this is when we create an identity with something in us that is eternal, that is our being, then we don't fear so much when everything else falls away. We don't have this situation where we're like, I don't know who I am, I feel like I don't know anything anymore, I've lost all interest in my passions and everything else. We feel like there's nothing left to hold on to, no structure. That's basically what happens. But after some time of going through these experiences, if we have been really connecting in with ourselves at a deep level, we do have something that we identify with. We don't scramble to create a new egoic identity to feel like we can function again. And that's really the role of meditation in Dark Night of the Soul. So when we meditate, like, what is the purpose of meditation? A lot of people see it as, oh, it's relaxing and I can feel creative, and all these things are of course amazing, but I see them more as kind of like milestones along the way to the getting to the really center point, and that is identifying with ourselves at a soul level, at a being level. I'm using those terms interchangeably here, whatever word resonates with you about connecting to that aspect that is eternal in you. And when we connect to that part of us, we're connecting to really the driving force of our life, and we become conscious of that driving force. Previously, sometimes the driving force can come from an egoic identity, but once that's been kind of lost, we can really have all the energy coming into us and working from that soul level, and consciously realize that we're working from that level. And in the last Dark Nights of the Soul that I went through, I felt that I was more connected to this being, and it really was a shining light. I was still feeling really lost and not sure of why I wasn't feeling happy all the time, but even within that malaise and feeling in the spaces in between and not exactly understanding everything, I also felt like I had this deeper presence holding me. And if you are going through this experience at the moment, it's true, the mantra, even though it's a cliche, is that this too shall pass. sometimes when we're in it, we really don't feel like that. But having been through my own circumstance, my own situation, and that's only what I can speak from, is that of course it does pass. But to help us feel stronger when we're going through it, having a really committed meditation practice helps. I understand that when you're in the dark night of the soul, you might not even feel like meditating. That's how I felt. So it's more the day-to-day practices that we have where we're continually strengthening ourselves. And this is part of the spiritual nutrition, that we don't just meditate when life feels bad, that we're meditating all the time, and we're putting a little bit of more nourishment, filling up our spiritual bank, so that when we do have these moments, we actually have the divine energy and resources to move through them in a slightly different way, perhaps a more conscious way. It's always going to be different for each of us, but I hope you found some of this useful. And if you are interested in learning more meditation with me or having mentoring with me, you can check out my website, or if you have a question below, please write it in the comments and I will answer you. And of course, if you liked this video, please give it a like.